Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're watching in the world. We are doing a match reaction to Netherlands 4, Montenegro 0. I'm Michael Staven. I'm joined by Mike Bell, the Football-Oranje editor. We'll be talking about the game, our thoughts on the players that played. But if you're watching this live, or if you're not watching this live, we want to hear your thoughts too. We had so many comments on the Norway match reaction. We want to have the same again, if not more. So we can see loads of comments coming in live about the game, about your thoughts on the players, thoughts on Van Gaal. Keep them coming in. But you can also do that on YouTube in the comments below. Mike, what did you think of the match? It was a different atmosphere to the Norway game. There seemed to be a lot more open for the Dutch when they could carve out opportunities. But at the same time, not vintage Netherlands where we want them to be.
No, I think the start was quite sloppy. For the first, before Netherlands got the penalty, I thought it was a pretty dire game. And then even in the start of the second half, Montenegro were gifted some chances where it could have gone a bit wrong. But in the end, it's a 4-0 victory on paper, which was definitely needed after the draw against Norway, and it sets it up perfectly for the game against Turkey. But I still think there's several things that Van Gaal needs to look at and work on before the game against Turkey, because there's just some positions that aren't working out just perfectly just yet. Especially midfield, I think is still struggling at the moment to gel, and he really needs to find a way of playing. If he wants to play Wijnaldum and Klaassen together, he needs to find some way of making it work, because I think the two of them just they don't gel well together, and they seem to want to occupy the same spaces, and it just doesn't work. And yeah, I think that he needs to either make a change for that or figure out what's something with the free to make it work, because against Turkey it needs to be better, because that's a stronger nation and it's a must-win game. Because going into that game now, it kind of just looks like that could be the one that decides who can win this group. And Turkey aren't playing that well recently. They're 0-0 against Gibraltar going into halftime. They eventually won 3-0, but I don't think they're playing that great, and they drew 2-2 against this Montenegro side at home the other day. So the game's there for the taking. It just Van Gaal just needs to make sure that the players aren't making sloppy mistakes like they did today, and that they're firing up front. I think Memphis is in great form. I loved Cody Gakpo again today. I thought he was great. So there's positive signs, just a few things that need tweaked.
Just want to get your thoughts on Tyrell Malacia, who played at left back tonight rather than Daley Blind. Does Blind come back in for you now, or did Malacia impress you enough to stay in the team? I know that I'm going to talk a bit later about some of the mistakes that I saw in the defence, and Malacia was one of those tonight. Does he now win that left back position for you? Did he do enough?
I think overall, I thought he did well. The one lapse of concentration, we've seen that from Daley Blind time and time again. So you can kind of give him benefit that was his debut. I think it was a strong debut, except for that one error, which was a very bad error that could have cost a goal if it wasn't for Justin Bijl, who again was exceptional, I thought, in goal for Netherlands. So I think Malacia, for me, is the better option at left back. I wouldn't just put Blind back in, but I think Van Gaal will, because he'll want Blind's experience, and he just seems to be one of these players at the moment that seems to be undroppable for whoever's head coach. It's like Wijnaldum. We can all say he had a really bad game tonight, but it's not going to change. He's still going to be in 11 when it comes to the Turkey game, because there's just certain players at the moment that seem to be undroppable, and sadly Blind's one of those, because it seems that Van Gaal just needs to fit him in the team. It's the same with Frank de Boer as well, and the coach before that, he just seemed to want to put him somewhere in the team to have him there, and sometimes it hurts the 11, because I think Malacia is a much stronger left back. We saw that his partnership with Gakpo today had a lot of promise going forward. So yeah, we'll see what Van Gaal does. He's meant to be one of these coaches that makes the big decisions, so whether he will or not, I can't see that he will, but fingers crossed that Malacia will be the one that's on the team sheet come Tuesday.
Definitely a player with lots of promise, him and Wijnaldum in future. So left back options are definitely there. We don't always have to rely on Daley Blind. Anyway, Mike, I know that you got to go early tonight, so thanks for coming on to give your thoughts on the game. And much more to come from you on the website shortly with the player ratings, I think, with Netherlands against Montenegro.
Yeah, no worries. Have a good rest of the night, and we'll speak again after the Turkey game, which hopefully we'll be talking about a comfortable Netherlands win.
Cheers, Mike.
Right, bye.
But plenty more to come on this show still. So if you've got thoughts on the game, do comment them in. I'm actually now going to get some of these on screen. But with what I was saying, some of the players you talked about here tonight. Let's get some of the comments. So Masai Dose says, we need to perform against Turkey and collect 3 points. That should be our focus now. We always stumble against teams that are more physical and play quick and high pressing games. Jack's been pretty happy with tonight. Pretty good match from Oranje, but far from perfect. Berghuis needs to come out. Loses the ball too often, gives it away cheap. He never beats his man. He's tired of him. Do you know what? Berghuis is an interesting one, isn't he? He's a player that's played a lot in the Eredivisie and succeeded there, but hasn't yet been able to show that at Champions League level, international level. So it's a big step up for him. He did okay tonight. I know that Van Gaal talked about having the wingers staying out wide as much as possible. Gakpo and Berghuis are trying to do that. Berghuis always has more of a tendency to cut inside, though. Gakpo was sticking out wide as much as possible, and he put a great cross in for Klaassen when he hit the post. So I think out of the two of them, Gakpo had a better night tonight because he had those bigger quality moments where he was delivering a goal or an assist or putting it on a plate for another attacker. Whereas Berghuis, whilst he was busy and important in the attacks, you didn't see much of a cutting edge from him. It was all like the ideas, but there wasn't much execution from him. He did set up the one goal, though. So for now, keep Berghuis in, keep him on that right-hand side. He is the best option, as Van Gaal said, for that right wing position. And I know that many people left comments on Football-Oranje's match reactions for the Norway game to say that they'd rather see 5 at the back, because if it is that Berghuis is one of the main options to the wingers, then they should play 5 at the back with wing backs being the choices there. But the players don't want to play anything other than a 4-3-3. I know that many of you watching as well also want to see the Netherlands play a 4-3-3 rather than a 5-3-2 under Frank de Boer. So it's constant conflict, isn't it, of who we want to see playing, but also the formation too. Be interesting to have some more comments coming about the formation. It seems to be so important to the Dutch and the way that they play. But if you haven't got the best wingers in the world, then is a 5 at the back a better option? Let me know. Let's bring up a comment here about Klaassen as well. He also needs to go. Works hard but accomplishes very little. He doesn't touch the ball very much when Ajax played the tests recently, Klaassen, and I didn't see him out in action too much again tonight. He had the header against the post. He's always very effective inside the box, isn't he? Almost like having a second striker with the way that he makes his runs, with the way that he can be a threat in the box. Does he do enough with a build-up play? I don't know. Saw him drop deep a fair few times tonight, but did he do enough with it? Remains to be seen whether that is the best option that Netherlands have at the moment in that 10 position. Michel Gutierrez, excellent from the Dutch today, except for some inexplicable defensive mistakes that luckily did not cost us. Memphis and De Jong were exceptional. I think this is a great time to bring up those defensive mistakes that we saw tonight. The one that will stick in everyone's head was Tyrell Malacia on his debut, chucking the ball across his own box for the Montenegro striker to try and get on the end of, and luckily he skied it. Everyone will remember that one, though. But I've written down here that it wasn't just Malacia that gave the ball away in a dangerous area tonight. Wijnaldum did it, Dumfries did it, and De Ligt and De Vrij somehow managed to both do it in one attack. So it's not as if he was the only one to give the ball away in a very silly area tonight. There were others that did it too. But everyone remember that Malacia one because he was the one on his debut. But overall, there were quite a few mistakes in that defence tonight, and actually a lot of ball losses were happening in the wrong area of the pitch. Something Van Gaal needs to work on. Talking about Gakpo, Jack's doing a few comments here tonight, so we'll bring up another one. He stayed wide and had a brilliant finish. He also liked Bergwijn too for the brief time he was on the pitch. However, for the Turkey match, they won't let us have the ball like Montenegro did today, and that's when we flop. And yeah, that is right, because for so long, the Netherlands had this slim 1-0 lead from a penalty. And whilst they had more shots than Montenegro, I don't think that against Turkey they're going to create as many opportunities as they did in the second half and score the goals that they did. You know that's going to be a different opposition, and going away to Turkey and losing 4-0, surely a massive signal to the players that they won't expect a similar kind of game at home as he did tonight against Montenegro. Chandrasekhar Roy, very important win, a thunderbolt from Gakpo. Better flow in the right and left flanks due to Dumfries and Malacia. Malacia will get better. Hope he gets a chance against Turkey. Just my personal view of Malacia. Mike, early on our show, said that he thought Malacia had a pretty good game tonight, apart from that one ball giveaway he did. I disagree. I wasn't that satisfied with Malacia tonight. He had one. I remember one particular interception he did, which was very good, but I expected a bit more from down that left flank. But then when I thought about it some more, actually, during the game, I thought it was because Gakpo didn't give him the ball enough. If anyone wants to comment on that opinion there that I just gave, didn't we know on that? I felt as though Gakpo, whenever he was on that left wing, Malacia would give him the option on the overlap. But only very rarely would Gakpo ever pass to him. It would be De Jong that would pass to Malacia and not Gakpo down that left wing. And that kind of annulled some of what Malacia can bring to the play. Malacia can put some great crosses from that left wing. We didn't see very much from him because, and Gakpo had a great game, by the way. Maybe him being selfish was a good thing. But I think he could have used Malacia a bit more tonight. A bit more team cohesion's needed. Van Gaal spoke about the importance of the team, and that was just one signal for me that said that the wingers don't know their fullbacks well enough to pass to them. The same was the case on the right-hand side. You got Berghuis and Dumfries, who worked a little better together. But Dumfries, and Berghuis never played together before, unlike some other players in the squad. And I've put it back across Till here. He was there for maybe 10 minutes, but his touch and work rate were excellent. Wish Wijnaldum could have got a similar touch. Quinton Smith agreed Dumfries is so important to the offence. Yeah, he has to be the starting right back now, Dumfries. Been very impressed with him yet again. Just with the way that Frank de Boer has owed some credit for this, but Van Gaal's getting the best out of him too. By playing him on this right wing-back position, you can get a lot of out of his physicality in the box with his runs, but also his headers, the back post. But he's also really good with his build-up play and not bad defensively. It's just that he's often so far up the pitch that it's hard for him to track back. Truth, Frankie needs to play further forward. He's less influential when Klaassen plays. Interesting. And another opinion from here saying, actually, I think De Ligt is a world-class centre-back. Quite poor tonight. Yeah, I said already that he gave the ball away once. And maybe he didn't have a great game tonight. De Ligt, I think, is world-class, though. Yes, I do. A lot of potential still. He's still a very young player. He's playing for Juventus. The guy's got it. Talking of Klaassen, says AJ Sims, might mean De Roon coming back. No way anybody wants De Roon back. Klaassen has to learn to play deeper. So who would you play in the 10 position instead then? Would you put Wijnaldum there? And Arthur says, again, a frustrating game. Although the Netherlands won comfortably enough, sloppiness and a sort of tentativeness was evident. They seemed to play too slowly and without aggressiveness. Alex says, that midfield pairing of Wijnaldum and Klaassen is dull and uncreative. Defence mistakes are at times worrying. Very much work in progress. It won't improve until the right mix is found in midfield. I agree with the tempo being quite low. De Jong is trying to pull all the strings, and then when he can get the ball out to the wingers or the fullbacks, but then that's De Jong done. That's what he does. He does it very well. It's up to the players on those wings or Wijnaldum coming deep to try and create something a bit different. I think the problem with Wijnaldum is that he needs a space. And when you're playing it to compact defence, he's not quite as effective with it. But he got his goal tonight. So, are we being harsh for the Netherlands, or could they have been better? I personally think that things need to improve. A couple of positions need to change. Abdul says, can we beg Wijnaldum to retire? Why don't they start Bergwijn on the right instead of Berghuis? A combination that I'd like to see, actually. It might add a bit more pace and aggression to the attack. And Abdul also says that Till and Koopmeiners should be getting a chance. Loads of comments coming in, guys. Thank you very much for doing this. As you can tell, I'm a one-man band at this moment. Mike had to go a little bit early tonight. Max says, agree that Bergwijn deserves a bit more of a run out. He's playing very well for Spurs at the moment. And Arthur agrees. Bergwijn was excellent as a sub. What else we got? Excellent result, what we needed. Memphis played very well. Khatpo terrific. We move on to Turkey. Yes, it was a positive performance tonight. I think we all felt better after this one we did against Norway, but still things we need to work on. Another one with Malacia. He's rather lightweight in defence, looks suspect in one-on-ones. Was nervous out there tonight. He looked uptight and sweating during the anthem. I didn't see that, to be fair, Jack. I tuned in 5 minutes late. One horrible error and had some decent play. Matthias. Bonand should play in a more offensive position, similar to where Klaassen has been. Instead of Klaassen, maybe Havenberg or Koopmeiners, and give them some minutes in the international careers. Yeah, we haven't seen enough from Havenberg and Koopmeiners yet in the Netherlands jersey. Mouse says Noah Lang could provide this team with the necessary creativity. Would you play him as a 10 and have him try and pull some strings behind the striker? And Martin says, Bilo, excellent performance. Yep, he's had 2 matches now and he's looked pretty good. Another one about Wijnaldum. Does Wijnaldum not play behind Memphis and Klaassen in front of De Jong? Please clarify. Wijnaldum tonight played as an 8. And then when I think it was... No, he didn't go into a 10, but he often pushes forward from deep and leaves De Jong back. De Jong will just sit and then Wijnaldum can go and join the attack. But I believe that Klaassen was the furthest forward out in those midfield 3 tonight. And a good question from Abdul. Who do you think deserves man of the match tonight for Oranje? I want to hear everyone else's thoughts, whether you're watching live or whether you're not watching live. Who do you think was man of the match tonight? Who stood out for you? And I'll give my thoughts in a little bit. I wrote down some extra things here about how I thought there was quite a flat start tonight. And it did take a while for the Netherlands to sort of pass from side to side, try and tire out this Montenegro defence, because it was flat for an awful long period of time. That penalty was a penalty, and Memphis scored a great penalty from that. But again, he is the difference maker. He made that penalty happen. He scored it. He scored another great strike, the near post. Without this guy, I don't know where the Netherlands would be. They have to completely change the style of play. But I thought that I think I would say actually, go on before I look at everyone else around the match. But I think it's Cody Gakpo, just because he hasn't played that much before in a Netherlands shirt. And whilst I think he was a little bit selfish to Malacia tonight, he had a great performance. Set up a goal, didn't he? And he also scored one. So fair play to him. I also thought it was great how all 4 goal scorers tonight had played for PSV. Let's look at some of yours then. The Moment of Truth thinks that Bergwijn is terrible. He's another Promes, Babel, Lens, useless winger. It's form though as well, isn't it? And people are calling for Bergwijn out because he's back in form, whereas before he was out of form and he's still getting opportunities like Promes was. So man of the match, we've got a vote here for Memphis. And another one as well for him. Quality shone through and gave the team confidence. I agree with you. A third one for Memphis. Beginning to feel a bit out here with just with choosing Gakpo. Memphis' signature turn always catches defenders, even the threat is obvious. That is right, Martin. Yeah, that guy's got such a strong core that he can just turn in an instant, but defenders buy it every single time. Klaassen offers more than De Roon in terms of passing and ball circulation. Yeah, I think De Roon's only got a future in games where they're not going to have much possession, the Netherlands, but De Boer didn't manage him well enough at the Euros, and he wasn't great at all in the midfield, was he, De Roon? But he's a great midfielder, so Abdul's voting for Gakpo for man of the match. Another one for Memphis. Gakpo was good, disciplined, stayed wide as Van Gaal wanted. Brilliant goal. And before we start to finish, let's have a look at the defensive side then. A lot of tidying up to do on the basics, but Van Gaal is already having a positive impact. Yeah, I mean, like, defensively, is it good enough against Turkey? They conceded 4 goals against them. Well, I mean, like, it was only 6 months ago, wasn't it? So how far has his team come in 6 months? You can't say that a lot of the personnel will have changed for either side. So how are the Netherlands going to manage this game? As a little preview to the game, we are actually going to have Euro expert on after the match with me on the live stream against Turkey, because he knows Turkey inside out, and he's given us lots of things before about how Turkey are actually a very good side. He thought they did better at the Euros than they actually did, though. But this team will be out for a vengeance. However, tonight, 0-0 against Gibraltar at half-time and only won 3-0 in Gibraltar. So are they going to be as good as we thought they were before the Euros? We'll have to see. Let's hope it's a zippy performance though, and it's not another flat sort of start to the game like it was tonight. If Turkey come out and attack the Netherlands, can the Dutch use that space in behind? I think that's what they'll enjoy, using that space, because like I say, technical players like Memphis and Wijnaldum really thrive off that. Right, I think we'll get last comments up on the screen and we'll wrap up for the evening. Riri says, man of the match, Louis van Gaal. This is a comment back to me from earlier, that Noah Lang did mean him having him as a number 10. And having Frankie and Koopman is behind him. Interesting thoughts there. Yeah, the passing distribution would be insane with Koopman and De Jong next to each other. Would like to see that. Hamza says Memphis needs the respect he deserves. He's been unrated for years. The man's at Barcelona now. He's certainly getting the credit that he deserves. I hope he goes on to score loads of goals in Spain this season. Who's going to be the starting centre half against Turkey if Virgil van Dijk is fit? I think he goes to De Vrij, because Van Gaal really likes him, and he had a very good game against Norway. Perhaps not so much tonight with that ball loss he gave away. But then, like I said already, the whole of the back four gave away a silly pass inside pretty much their own third of the pitch. De Jong prepared to run at opposition and puts Holland on the front foot, a class act. Yeah, another player. You know, I was looking at this team thinking that the team itself is just basically full of Eredivisie players, except for Virgil, Stefan de Vrij, De Jong in midfield, Wijnaldum and Memphis. That core of the team is still there that I spoke about from 2 or 3 years ago in this podcast, that it's always that spine of a team which is always so strong for the Netherlands, players playing at top clubs in Europe. But around it was a lot of Eredivisie players. And that for me says, and whilst I love the Eredivisie very much, but there needs to be some players that are moving on to these top clubs because of how good they are. I'm not saying they have to move right now a second. I'm just saying that it shows the level that they're at, that there aren't tons of players, playing for top clubs in England, for Italy. There are a lot of players playing for Ajax, PSV and Feyenoord in this team at the moment. Is that a sign of the times that there's a lot of players in progression, but not yet at the top of their game? Final comments. Hamza. I think Turkey played their second team tonight against Gibraltar. Good shout. I didn't think about that. Kochi started and he's not a regular. Fair point. Against Turkey, they must play a faster, more dynamic and attack, defensively sound, staying switched on off the ball and close down all the spaces. Agreed. Yilmaz will need controlling on Tuesday. Too right. John says, much better tonight. Give Frankie the ball more. Good things happen. Too right. That's feedback. Good night. Cheers, John. And at the moment, do I think the Netherlands have the potential to win the World Cup? No, I don't think so at the moment. Potential, I think the key word was potential there, right? Potential, yes. But in these kind of competitions, you always need luck, don't you, to be on your side. And you have to play poorly in some of these like quarterfinal, semi-final matches to get through. So you just need to be one of these like top 8 teams. You can be a top 8 team going into the World Cup and be at that level. You've always got a chance, haven't you? However, Momentary thinks we've got no chance of winning in 2022. Okay, we're going to wrap up there. So thank you very much for watching this evening. If you did enjoy it, give it a like. Let us know that you're enjoying these post-match reactions to the games, and we'll keep doing them. At the moment, we have definitely got one planned against Turkey after the game, so join us again then. If you're new to us and you don't know who we are, subscribe to Football-Oranje. You can go and check out our Twitter. My Twitter handle's there as well. You can check out the website. Lots more Dutch football content as always. And a final request, if you haven't already heard from us about this, we're in the finals of the Football Content Awards. We're absolutely blown away by the fact that we're there. I'm hoping to attend, actually. It's next month. I'll get to go to the final and there's champagne and there's always different people and football bloggers. We're really cool. But if you want us to win in the final, we're up for 2 separate awards. We are up for the best international podcast. We're also up for the best club content creator international because of the things we do for the Eredivisie. So if you think that we should win, you can click on the link which is in the description. It opens it up. It's very easy to vote. You don't even have to vote in all the other categories. You can just vote for us if you want, and then just press vote now. Done. So if you can do that for us, that would be really well appreciated. But anyway, thanks for joining us this evening. I can see some of your comments saying thank you as well. So you're very welcome. Thank you for joining me. And we'll see you after the Turkey game. Hopefully it's another positive result and 7 points out of 9. Good evening, everybody.